Hello, everybody. Jim Chapman here, your regional chef for the Intuit portfolio. And today I have the pleasure of introducing one of our fantastic up-and-coming chefs. Patrick Willis is one of our lead cooks from the Plano location. And Patrick's going to be doing a plant-forward dish for us today. Very excited to have you, Patrick, on the Chef Corner series for 2021. I'm going to pass over to you. Tell us what you got cooking for us today.
Sounds good. Thank you, Chef. I appreciate the warm welcome there and that introduction. Today, we're going to be doing a plant-forward dish. I was challenged with coming up with a nice plant-forward dish that, you know, anybody can do easy and whatnot. And I decided to come at it from an angle from sustainable meat and in particular, impossible meat. Something I've cooked with in the, kitchen at Intuit, but never in my home. So I said, what can I do with impossible meat? I could go the burger route like everybody else does. So I decided to go spaghetti, Bolognese, meat sauce. So I wanted to do an impossible meat sauce and recorded a video of my experience making it. And before we get started with that video, we always like to get started with a quick safety moment. Since I'm not in the Intuit kitchens, I'm at my home kitchen, I decided to do a quick home version of our safety moment. So first of all, do wear shoes in your kitchen when you're cooking. I know we all like to cook barefoot, but you can burn your feet with some oil or drop a knife on there, and we don't want that. Always keep a fire extinguisher handy. It's possible, it happens, so it's always good to be aware of where your fire extinguisher is and purchase one if you don't have one. Always keep a sharp knife. I stress this with my girlfriend. She always wants to use a dull knife. I keep them sharp. A dull knife will cause more injury than a sharp knife will. Wear safe clothing. Get a nice little cheap apron that you can throw on. It's not just for looks. In case you get oil or hot liquid on there, you can take it off. Burns, always use pot holders, towels, dry towels, never wet towels. Age of COVID, always make sure that you keep your hands washed, especially when you're handling ready to eat foods. You want to keep you and your family safe. And always, we use cut gloves. You can purchase cut gloves if you want. You can get them from any, I think, like Williams Sonoma, any kitchenware store or whatnot, or you can order them from Amazon. It's a good way if you're not good with your knife skills to prevent cuts and whatnot. So that's about it. After that, I'm going to share my screen and we'll get started. I'm going to show you the video, and it's pretty self-explanatory on the video. Then afterwards, I open it up for a Q&A if anybody has any questions or whatnot. So let me go ahead and share my screen. All right, we'll get this video started.
Impossible meat. What is it? Let's find out.
Here, what we have in front of me is all of those natural plant ingredients that when recombined in the right ratio creates meat. This is soybeans, and the soybeans have been kind of texturized, and this gives you the high protein content and the nice chew and texture of meat. We're gonna mix on it.
Okay, so that was just water.
That was just water. This is potato protein, and also in here are nutrients. So these nutrients bring both the nutritional aspects as well as flavor components that react upon cooking.
It tastes like a gravy.
Potato protein in the raw state helps everything bind together. Upon cooking, it gels up to hold water to make it nice and juicy, and a nice chew down. Our next ingredient is like hemoglobin. So all plants actually have heme. In the raw state, it tastes metallic. And upon cooking, it reacts with those simple nutrients that we just put in the burger and creates all the flavors of meat.
Is it gonna taste like blood?
I think so.
It tastes like ocean blood.
A little salty.
Yeah.
There are flavor compounds created by heme that have been shown to be the drivers of what carnivores will go and crave after. And what fat does is it really a lot of times traps good flavor and then is a delivery system. Sunflower oil is a unsaturated fat, so a lot of people say it's the good fats. Also in here is cellulose. So that's what holds all plants together. And what on the back of your label is called fiber. So that is what we add here to allow for the whole product to be bound together.
I actually think I could do it at home and be like water, bouillon cubes, my blood, mayonnaise, and I don't know, I guess coconut fat is the only thing I could do to that.
The coconut oil, you can really trap the delicious flavors that we're generating here. This mixing bowl is representing a giant mixer, like your KitchenAid, and that is then just maybe the half is room.
Oh, huge mixer.
And then all the downstream is exactly like a meat factory, forming it into either patties or bricks, and then freezing it, packaging it.
Okay, now that we know what a possible meat is, let's get cooking. First of all, I'm using whole wheat pasta and some canned tomatoes. You can use fresh if you want, but I recommend canned, it's easier. And some fresh basil, doesn't have to be organic. And a yellow onion. Can't forget the carrots. And my least favorite vegetable is celery, but it's good for flavor. Also, we're gonna need to make some veggie stock because I didn't get done at the store. So, combine celery, onions, carrots, and I add the mushroom for a nice umami flavor. And we let that simmer for about half an hour with a bay leaf. And I put some cracked pepper in there. You can use whole peppercorns, but I don't have any, so I just use cracked pepper. Once that's done simmering, we strain it out, and then we have a beautiful, beautiful veggie stock that you can use for whatever you want. We're going to use it for our Bolognese today to make it veggie. Then you're going to take a hot pan. I'm using a little mini Dutch oven here. Going to make sure it's really hot, and you're going to add your olive oil and butter, which you will not see video of because my phone died. But I assure you that that Dutch oven is very hot. Once that butter and olive oil gets to simmering, you're going to add your vegetables and make sure they're thoroughly sweated. Just going to keep stirring occasionally to make sure they're all mixed. You want to coat all the veggies in the oil. And a little bit longer, we're going to let those veggies become really soft. Now we're going to add our meat, I should say, in air quotations. This is my first time actually cooking with this at home, so I was curious to see how it would turn out, and it's browning pretty good, like actual ground beef. And I was even surprised to see that it developed the fond. That's what we call those little burnt bits at the bottom of the pan, which we as cooks call flavor. So we're gonna go ahead and incorporate all those veggies and then possibly together. Just kind of keep it moving at this stage. And once all that's done, we're gonna add our tomato paste and mix that all up. Let it caramelize in there. Then we're going to add our white wine so we can go ahead and deglaze the bottom of the pan. That's to remove those little bits of fond that we see at the bottom right there, or flavor, like I said before. And you can also add your veggie stock at this moment, which I also did not record, but I did add it in. And you're going to keep stirring this little mixture just to cook off all that wine. You kind of want the wine to go all set because we say are like dry. And once that's all simmered in with the veggie stock, we're going to add our canned tomatoes. No need to smash them up because they'll break down during cooking. Or you could just smash them up with a spoon like I did here. It's really starting to smell really good right now. And there we go. I added my basil and my thyme, salt, pepper, everything's really coming together. I think this is time to simmer And once it's simmered it, this is the final result. I only let it go for about 40 minutes. You can let it go longer if you want to, but this is a good weekday meal. Our pasta that is magically cooked in heavily salted water tastes like the ocean, as my chef used to say. Feel free to use any pasta you want. I just use rigatoni here. This is my favorite pasta. And then we're going to top it off with the Bolognese, which looks like beef and tastes just as good. This was a good Meatless Monday recipe. And don't forget to top it off with a little chiffonade basil. And that is ready for consuming. Share that with your friends, family, and see if they can find out if it's beef or not. And here's the recipe. And if you guys want a copy, feel free to email Chef Jim or myself, and I'll send that right over to you. Thanks for your time.
All right. It was pretty much it. That was a pretty basic, I didn't go as crazy. You can go really crazy with Bolognese. If not, normally when I make a meat for it, Bolognese, I do like beef, lamb, pork, all that, and it simmers for like a day. But this is a good, quick weekday type meal, and it was really good. I tested it out. I cooked for my girlfriend, and I just, I didn't tell her what it was, and she ate it. She was like, "Oh, it's good. It's really good." And I told her it was the Impossible meat. She was like, "That's it? It tastes like beef." I didn't even know. So it fools her. I think it can fool anybody. I got to try it on my dad. If it fools my dad, then I know it's a winner. But for now, I'll open it up for any questions. If anybody has any questions or comments or whatnot, please feel free to share those.
Thank you, Patrick. I think most of the time simple is best, and you gave us a good example of how to just take meat out of our diet for a day, do something right for the environment, something a little healthier for ourselves, and look how simple it was. It looked great. I'm sure it was delicious. So thank you very much for sharing that with us today. I appreciate it.
And my pleasure, Chef. Thanks for having me.
Anybody have any questions for Patrick?
I don't have any questions, but hey, Patrick, I appreciate your editing skills and your great dialogue during the video. Pretty interesting. Thank you.
No problem, Chef. Thank you.
Yeah, great job. In the chat box, we got a great job from James and Jennifer. So way to go. And I love the fact that you made the stock. Oh man, I forgot to buy vegetable stock, but I got vegetables. So,
True story. And actually,
sometimes it works out for the best. I like to use all the little ends and pieces of veggies I got left over to make a stock and then go from there. That's awesome.
We hope to see more of these, Patrick. That was great. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
So just a quick reminder to everybody, the Chef Corner series, you can find the links to that on the Slack channel where we have advertisements pre the showing of the Chef Corners, but we also repost the recordings. So if you weren't able to join us live, you can find us there. And again, we do these Chef's Corner series every Wednesday and Friday at 11 a.m. And again, you can find us on Slack. Chef Patrick, thank you very, very much. Look forward to, please do send us the recipe and we'll post it up on Slack as well for folks. So when you get a chance, send that over to either Jennifer or myself. I appreciate it.
Sounds good.
Thanks for joining us today.